Hey, Amber.
They saw my tum-tum!
The moon landing didn't happen.
Are you actually gonna wear that?
Sorry, but like, ew.
Did she spray Pam on the food?
That ass, though.
You're lolcows. That's what you guys do.
I'm saying that there's two people in this story, and one of them isn't being honest about the situation at hand.
Hey folks, what's good? I'm Professor Dietz. I'm kind of losing my voice, so sorry about it. But today, I have some girl world lore, I guess. I don't know, let's call it the context that Amberlynn conveniently left out of her live stream. Once again, Amberlynn went live to the public only to cherry pick the truth in order to further her own narrative. In her Breaking My Silence live stream, she mentioned that she felt silenced by a text that Beck had sent her back in 2022.
It's just like so much. Like, I've been wanting to say so much and I haven't been able to. And I'm going to say why. September 7th, 2022, I get a text from Beck saying, "Last fucking warning. Stop talking about me. All you do is talk shit about me. And I just want to forget you and all of the bullshit. I will stop being silent if you don't. And I'm not the only one who has a lot to say about you. Final fucking warning. Take my name out of your mouth and I can get the law involved." So that's fair. Okay.
Of course, my curiosity got the best of me. I wanted to know what had set Beck off so much that they threatened to bring the law into the matter if ALR didn't stop talking about them on her channel. I won't be discussing the entire live stream today, but you can be sure she twisted the truth, only answered the questions that she wanted to answer, manipulated language, manipulated her audience, all the ways she usually does. I mean, after all, she's been losing control of the narrative lately, and the tailspin it has thrown her into has been a spectacle, to say the least. But that's not what we're talking about. Today, we're diving into some history, so are you ready? I know I am. Let's do this. So the text that Beck sent to Amberlynn was on September 7th, 2022. And at this time, Amber was in her wifey era. We all know that this was not her most exciting time period. Feline, the hand, Jade, refused to be on camera, so Amber had to figure out how to be interesting without showing her girlfriend's face. Whether she's willing to admit it or not, in my opinion, Amber has always been pretty much reliant on side characters to keep people watching, Amber isn't interesting. She's just not. And she's even admitted her content is boring. About a month prior to this particular moment in time, the September moment, I guess, I think it was the end of July, she once again had brought up the fact that people were always telling her how boring she is.
People coming at me with, "Your life is so boring. Why do you vlog it?" Because I can.
So she knew it. We were getting hauls, recipes, try-ons.
This is one of those floaties, those unicorn floaties that people have. Okay.
Mukbangs.
I will say mukbangs will forever be top tier on my channel. Mukbangs make me more money, easily triple, quadruple my income.
And she knew that she was losing people. Wifey, Feline, Jade, whatever we want to call her. She was never going to be the side character that Beck had been, or as controversial as Destiny had been. Even Crystal, who didn't want to be on camera either, but was forced to anyway, was more interesting than Feline. I think Amber was kind of panicking, honestly. And that's why she announced her channel rebrand. Well, she called it a channel rebrand.
This is me rebranding into a just vlog channel. Still gonna have the hauls, still gonna have the challenges. We're gonna do tags, we're gonna do routines, we're gonna just do it all. The weigh-ins, the what I ate today's, the go shopping with me, the let's go on date night. Like, it's all just gonna be compacted in vlogs. That's what I want. You guys prefer my vlogs over any other video that I post.
Mukbangs will forever be top tier on my channel. That is what gets me the most views.
I'm not sure how any of that could be considered a rebrand, but sure, Amber. Let's call you still doing all the exact same things that you've been doing for 10 years a rebrand. But one thing we did get out of this little project of hers was a new series that she called So Raw.
So welcome to So Raw. This video is so raw, you guys. Fuck. So this is a new segment. I don't know. It's like a wannabe podcast, but it's like not a podcast. It's like a podcast if you bought it on Wish. This content is gonna be so raw. This is me spilling tea I've never spilled before. It's just like random topics, advice, questions, opinions, my take on things, like news, literally everything and anything.
Which she launched on September 6th of 2022.
September 7th, 2022, I get a text from Beck.
That timing definitely seemed right. And what was the very first story that she ever told on this new series of hers? The story of how Beck proposed to her.
That text was kind of after like I said the proposal story.
So this was in fact what I was looking for. The moment that pushed Beck too far and inspired them to send that text to Amber. So let's go ahead and take a look at that story together. And before we do, just a reminder here, Amber refused to use Beck's preferred name and pronouns until very recently. So unfortunately, in order to conduct this research, we are going to have to hear Amber do this over and over again. And Beck, if you ever watch this, I'm sorry. I hate that Amber did this to you. It's just so disrespectful.
So everyone has dreams of how they want their partner to propose to them. I know I do. So I've always been super vocal about how I want it to happen. Like I want it to be personal. I don't like no public proposals, but I do want it to be romantic. Like, you know, some petals, some candles, some beautiful music. Like I want to be looking good, maybe right after a date night, or, you know, just like super romantic. I'm talking like so cheesy that we're just both pepper jack cheese, like living our best life. Like I want cheesy. I want things that you see in stupid romantic movies. I was sitting in the living room. It was about 2 a.m. and I was in a muumuu. I was like actual grandma chic. I had my floral muumuu on, living my best life. Don't think I showered that day. And I remember it being January 13th because my partner thought that she wanted to change that day for me because years prior, that's a day that I got broken up on, like where my heart broke. So she wanted to change that day for me into something special, which I get where your mind frame's at. It's a good mind frame, but it's also kind of weird all in the same. Your heart was in the good place, but it was in a place that I don't know. It was just weird. Okay, so I'm in my muumuu, not showered, hair greasy as per usual. And all of a sudden, like, she comes out, like, she's also in her pajamas, like, just living her best life. We both got the greasy hair, just living our actual separate lives in the same home. I don't know. There was definitely a disconnect, especially when she walked out of the bedroom with something in her hand, and it was like this clear box, and it was small, and I could tell something was in it. And she just sat down across from me and handed it to me, and I looked at it. You guys, this is embarrassing, but it's like an actual true situation type deal. It was a tiny pink vibrator with a engagement ring wrapped around it. Like, it was like, say this is the vibrator, it was like on it, like that. And she looked at me and said, "Will you have sex with me for the rest of my life?" And I said yes. I don't know. It was very like disconnected. I don't know, but that's how I was proposed to. I know a lot of people have been asking about that. I thought I shared it before. I thought we actually both shared it before in like a past live stream, but maybe not. And I know not everyone sat through those live streams because that was like a whole different era that was like super boring, but the question is answered. And I will say everything comes from a good heart. I like to believe that, but just because something comes from a good heart doesn't mean it's not awkward.
During the recent Breaking My Silence live stream, Amber did say that this was a story she had recently told on her channel, and kind of implying that it might have been something that annoyed Beck.
That text was kind of after like I said the proposal story.
But that's all she said. I mean, she even tried to defend herself at first, right? Saying that she didn't even say Beck's name.
And in the proposal story, I didn't even say Beck's name, you know.
And sure, she did immediately admit that everyone knew exactly who she was talking about anyway, so I'm not even sure why she said that in the first place. Whatever. What she failed to mention was just how embarrassing that story had been for Beck. She left out all of the context of that video, which was the fact that Amber had basically said it was a terrible way to have been proposed to. It wasn't romantic. It was everything she never wanted out of a proposal. And instead of offering this context, Amber just reads the text that she received from Beck out loud to us in a snotty tone.
Final fucking warning. Take my name out of your mouth and I can get the law involved.
Making herself the victim once again. It's as though this text wasn't a reaction to the fact that Amber had just told this horrible story that was meant to embarrass Beck to an audience of hundreds of thousands of people. And Amber knew that if she had offered the context, that it would become clear who the actual victim was in this story.
No, not that.
So she left it out. And what's even weirder or worse, I don't know, is that today we all know that Amber pretty much forced Beck to propose to her. Amber bought the rings and told Beck to do it. I think she even tried to sell the rings on Facebook. I don't really remember, but somehow last night she forgot all about that part too.
Then why did you have to buy the engagement rings? I don't understand what that's asking exactly.
It's obvious that this story was supposed to be a cringe fest. It was the first story that she told in a new series that was meant to make her channel more exciting. Amber was using an embarrassing story to try to bring in more views and thus more income. But you and I, we both know that Amber's viewers aren't all clueless. We're some of them, right? There's Minnie. Oh, and she's not in her bed. Okay. Minnie, wanna hop in your bed? Go on. Thank you. All right. All right. Well, this is... Right. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, viewers, right. And you know that I live for Amber's comment section, so I think it'd be interesting to take a look at the ones on this story. So let's do that now. All right, so here we have So Raw episode 1. I'm going to try and do my best to change pronouns as I go through this because I hate to do that to Beck if I can help it. Imagine having a girlfriend who can't stop talking about her ex. It's been a year. Move on, Amber. You still want us to believe you're not the toxic one? I think that kicks this off appropriately, yes. This is low, even for you, Amber. I watched that person love you, support you, and defend you for years. And for you to make a public mockery of such an intimate moment like that proposal is just so cruel. Agreed? Throwing little digs at your ex won't change that they left you, Amber. Your passive-aggressive attitude doesn't make you likable. It makes you come off as bitter, and everyone sees through you and your tea. Some comments about the other things she's talking about. Amberlynn using So Raw as an excuse to shit on Becky's proposal for 10 minutes. Facts. Throwing digs at your ex is just confirming to said ex that they did the right thing breaking up with you. They're thriving without you while you're stuck with a possible permanent leg injury. Taking down subreddits isn't going to change people's attitudes towards you, which is also oddly timely for today, because that just happened again this week. Wow, nothing ever changes, Amber, does it? The thing is, these people also have jobs, so aren't going to lose everything without those posts. You're biting the hand that feeds you, Amber, and soon you'll have no one else to blame for your lifestyle choices. Sorry, Amberlynn, but we are so over hearing about this person who refuses to be on camera, except for her hands and voice. It's like an imaginary friend. Kind of. Alright, what else we got? Let's see. I'm skip down. That's funny. Wifey, Amber, that's my girlfriend. That's her name legally. How dare you call her anything else? Jesse, that's a good one. The only thing embarrassing about Becky's proposal is that it was to you. Oof. When will you stop trashing your ex? It's not their fault they put themselves on your channel. Well, I think we understand what they meant by that. You couldn't come across more disingenuous if you tried. This is all just an act, an extremely bad act. Facts. How did she not know she was getting proposed to if she bought the ring? Good question. Trashing your ex speaks volumes about your character. Sure does. Yes, Gora, we are the delusional ones. During the advice segment, maybe you could share your tips on self-awareness. Imagine waking up and choosing to be this awful. Just living your best life, huh, girl? Can you just respect Beck's request for privacy and stop bringing them up all the time? Bring back the torrids and bad cooking. Anything but this. Trashing your ex, who's going through a very difficult time mentally. Love that for you. Yep. Oof, there's some mean ones in here I'm not going to say out loud. Dexter should just expose her already. Oh, it takes a few more years, but it's gonna happen. There we have it. This is what set Beck off. And I totally get why. You know, here they were long after Beck and Amber broke up, still being talked about in a totally disrespectful manner on a highly public platform. A purposefully cringe story to get more views during one of what I consider to be one of the most boring eras in her channel so far. So, Amber resorted to telling an embarrassing story about Beck to keep things interesting. And probably also because Amber was still dealing with the narcissistic injury of being broken up with by someone that she felt was beneath her. Which we know is not true, but that's what Amber thought. And nothing ever changes with Amberlynn. She never ever learns from her own mistakes because she's convinced that she never makes them. Instead, Amber continues to reiterate that people just want to dehumanize her.
To some people, I'm not real. I'm not human. I'm not any of that.
That all we do is claim Beck is right and Amber's always wrong.
I know a lot of people are telling me, Amberlynn, like people are just committed to not believing you and committed to just being like, Beck is all good, Amberlynn is all bad.
We're not the ones doing that, Amber. You're proving that you're the villain all by yourself. I don't know, somehow Amber still has all these people in her live stream, sending her money and supporting her lies. Drives me nuts. People aren't willing to or just can't see that Amber is who she is. She's a liar. And by the way, I don't think anyone has said that Beck is always right. I mean, myself included. And even Beck admitted that recently. But the thing is, Beck has actually taken accountability for their actions in a very real way. They've spent years healing and reflecting and learning from their past actions. That's something that Amber will never do. Amber also needs to stop saying that people are dehumanizing her. It's ridiculous because she clearly doesn't know what the word really means. In fact, Mika's Rhetoric, another channel here on YouTube, has done a fantastic job of breaking down the multiple meanings of the word.
Words have multiple definitions for a reason. because of context. Amberlynn conflated don't talk shit about somebody who you have promised not to publicly on this massive platform, who has been nothing but respectful to you to the most part on these public platforms and just wants to be left alone. People saying don't talk about them because that's not what they want from you, and y'all agreed, to dehumanization.
I'm going to leave a link to her video in the description for anyone who hasn't seen it, because Mika is thoughtful and very well spoken, in my opinion.
They did not say Amberlynn doesn't have the capacity to think or reflect on these instances.
I've been able to learn a lot about the art of arguing from her.
She is thus dehumanizing as well. Right?
I think Mika and I would actually be good friends, to be honest. Amberlynn continues to try to reshape the truth by omitting the parts of every story that make her look bad and cherry-picking the parts that serve her narrative. She is the eternal victim that has honed her skills of manipulation for over a decade. She's good at it, and people believe her. Amberlynn Reid is not the only one out there that does this to the people in their lives. And it's just so important that you be able to see when someone is manipulating you so that you can protect yourself. Did Amber really stop mentioning Beck for the 2 years that she claimed that she did?
There is a phase of time, like easily for like 2 years, I would not talk about Beck. I did not say a word.
I don't know. It's pretty weird because I literally see Beck's name in the title of the second episode of So Raw, so
I stopped talking about them.
maybe look out for a follow-up video on that. That would mean a whole deep dive on the Wifey era. Oof, that's a lot of boring content to get through, so we'll see on that. But in either case, it does bring me to today's reminder. Today's reminder. Everyone makes mistakes, but it's whether or not you learn from them that really shapes who you are and how other people see you. Today's shout out goes to my growing community here at Studio Deets. I've noticed how many of you are opening up about your own past and lifting each other up as you do. And I also see my channel members in there being kind and encouraging and just so respectful to newcomers that feel safe enough to share their stories. So you know who you are, and I see you. If you wouldn't mind helping me out with the algorithm, hit like, share, subscribe, or hey, become a channel member.
You should do that. Do it.
I'll leave a couple videos on screen if you'd like to continue watching. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Oh, also, Ginger Gilligan, comment on my book troll video. Okay, bye.
Sounds like someone's being dehumanized a little more than another, and it's not Amberlynn Reid.